On today's historical road trip, we are in Round Rock, Texas, where we're going to learn about Sam Bass and the Round Rock Shootout of 1878. Sam Bass was born on July 21, 1851, in Lawrence County, Indiana, to parents Daniel Bass and Elizabeth Jane Sheik. In 1877, Sam Bass gained attention as an outlaw after robbing a Union Pacific gold train in Nebraska. He relocated to Texas, where his ill-acquired gold was a draw to many men of working class. Arkansas Johnson, Sam Pipes, Albert Herndon, Henry Underwood, Jim Murphy, William Collins, Joel Collins, Seaborn Barnes, Frank Jackson, and their leader, Sam Bass, formed the Sam Bass Gang in Texas. On the morning of June 13, 1878, Texas Rangers cornered the Sam Bass Gang in Salt Creek, where a gunfight ensued. Arkansas was killed. Pipes and Herndon were shot and arrested. William was killed after he tried to escape. Murphy was captured and taken by Texas Rangers. Sam, Seaborn, and Jackson fled the scene unscathed. While in custody, Jim Murphy turned informant to the Texas Rangers and revealed Sam's plans of holding up several banks on the way to Mexico. Murphy rejoined the Sam Bass Gang in Denton County, where he kept the Texas Rangers up to date on all their plans. On July 19, 1878, Sam Bass, Seaborn Barnes, Frank Jackson, and Jim Murphy camped out in Round Rock, Texas, with the intention of robbing the Williamson County Bank. Jim Murphy stayed behind to alert the Texas Rangers of the robbery plans. While in town, Sam, Seaborn, and Frank were approached by Sheriff Deputy A.W. Grimes about the pistol that Sam was carrying. Frank and Seaborn started shooting. A.W. Grimes was killed before he could reach for his own weapon. Unbeknownst to Sam, Texas Rangers were already stationed in the city, anticipating the attack on the bank. Jim Murphy had set up a trap that finally stopped Sam Bass and became one of the most famous Wild West shootouts in Texas history. Deputy Sheriff Maurice Moore of Travis County opened fire on the gang in defense of Grimes. The gunfire got the attention of Texas Rangers Dick Ware and John Jones. Both came out firing at Sam and his boys. Seaborn Barnes was killed instantly, shot through the head. Outnumbered, the remaining members, Sam and Frank, fled to get to their horses that were tied up in an alley on Lampasas and Georgetown Avenue, which today is East Main Street. In the meantime, two civilians picked up pistols and shot at the gang. Sam and Frank left town in a hail of bullets. They made their way back to their camp. If sources are correct, I am standing in the area where Sam Bass and his men were camped out right before they went into town. Sam Bass was found underneath a live oak tree, much like the one behind me, where he was bleeding out. He had been shot in the lung, but he was still alive. Texas Rangers brought Sam Bass back to Round Rock, where his final hours of life were spent in a rundown shack located near the present-day location of the town's water tower. Sam Bass died at 3:58 p.m. on July 21, 1878, on his 27th birthday. Texas Rangers wanted to take Sam's body to Austin to prove his capture and death, but because of the summer heat, fear that the body wouldn't hold up for the long ride forced them to find another solution. Sam Bass was buried in Round Rock, Texas, where he was given a Christian funeral. Seaborn Barnes was buried next to Sam Bass. Since I started living here, I've been coming twice a week in the mornings to have breakfast with an outlaw, as I call it. Not much is known about Frank after the shootout. He lived his life in anonymity, hiding under several aliases. In 1920, at the age of 64, Frank petitioned Texas officials for a full pardon. He was denied. Frank Jackson passed away in 1931. The whereabouts of his final resting place are unknown. Sam Pipes and Albert Herndon were convicted on federal charges for robbing the U.S. mail. They were transferred to Sing Sing Prison in New York State. Pipes died in 1889 and is buried in Dallas, Texas. Herndon was pardoned and lived the rest of his known life volunteering as a nurse in a quarantine ship in New York Harbor. Joel Collins was killed during a failed train robbery in Kansas City, Missouri, by a posse of sheriffs on September 27, 1877. Henry Underwood returned to his home state of Indiana and died in 1907. While still an active member of the Sam Bass gang, he had grown tired of the numerous unsuccessful train robberies. He didn't believe that Sam Bass was tough or ruthless enough to be the leader of an outlaw gang, and shortly after the attack on Salt Creek, he abandoned the gang. Jim Murphy returned to Denton, Texas, where he got a job managing the Denton Parlor Saloon. Murphy voluntarily slept nights locked up in a jail cell. Some believed Murphy's strange behavior was a result of the paranoia connected to the rumors that Jackson was looking for revenge on the Judas who betrayed Sam Bass. On June 1879, Jim Murphy died of belladonna poisoning. Some people, including his family, believe that it was an accidental poisoning, but the more common belief is that the guilt of his betrayal had led him to take his own life. Today, Sam Bass, Seaborn Barnes, and Frank Jackson have become hometown folk heroes to many. They have been integrated into the romanticized version of a Wild West outlaw that Hollywood and our own imaginations have created. But let's not only remember the outlaws. There are two sides to the story. Williamson County Deputy Sheriff A.W. Grimes was killed in the line of duty by the Sam Bass gang on July 19, 1878. Grimes left behind a wife, Charlotte, and 3 children, Elizabeth, Benjamin, and Mabel. Charlotte was given $200 and one of the horses from the Sam Bass gang as compensation for the loss of her husband. Deputy Sheriff A.W. Grimes will be remembered fondly for his courage and the legacy that he left behind. Today you can find Sam Bass and A.W. Grimes buried just a few feet away from each other in the Round Rock City Cemetery. Round Rock, Texas is a beautiful city in my hometown, and I encourage you to come out and visit us soon.